Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to our last week of Online Family Sunday for this series. Thank you so much for joining us. I have just been so thrilled to be able to offer these programs online for you and to have you join me and us creating all together in this time of change. So thank you so much for participating and for also sending me all of those awesome photos of the artwork you've been making. It really makes my day when you send me a picture of something that you've done. I think it's amazing. So for this week, for today, our last edition, last one for this series, we're going to be working on some really cool mixed media printmaking and collage. Now our theme is an underwater theme. This is going to be an ocean fish scene. We're going to be using all three types of tissue paper included in your kit, as well as the blue paint and a few other things. But before we get started, let's rub our hands together to get ourselves ready. Rub, 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 rub. Very good. You're going to reach your hands way down in front of you, wiggle your fingers. Excellent. Clap your hands together one time. We're going to put our hands in our lap. I'm going to change my camera into bird's eye view, and away we go.
Here we have all of our materials set up. You're going to need your glue brush, your blue paint, your paint tray, a marker, preferably a permanent marker, some tape, and of course your tissue paper. Now before we get started, my artist friends, I'd like you to get busy by starting to rip up different shapes and types of tissue paper. So all three colors, you're going to make some piles, set them off to the side. Let's tape our paper down so that it stays nice and flat and also doesn't wiggle and jiggle. Go ahead and start with some glue once your piles of tissue paper are done. I'm using a nice big brush today. You can use any brush you have. We're going to start by taking the glue and placing it in a swipey motion all over our paper, one section at a time. Once you have some glue down on your paper, go ahead and grab that tissue paper, any color you like. We're going to start to glue it down. Now, if the tissue paper is a little bit lumpy and bumpy, that is actually great because it's going to start to make it look more like a water scene with some beautiful texture and some beautiful form, shape, and line. Let's glue down all of the pieces of tissue paper so that our whole page is covered. Now before we can move on to the next step, we have to make sure that everything is totally 100% dry. Grown-ups, please help us by grabbing the permanent marker, and we're going to draw out two fish shapes on the back of our piece of styrofoam. The next step is to start to cut out those wonderful little fish shapes, and grown-ups will ask for your help here again. The styrofoam can be a little bit tricky to cut, so use lots of patience, lots of good care, and lots of safety. Cut the shapes out as best you can. If they're not perfect, that's okay. We just need a general fish shape. And there we have our two little fish. We're going to start to paint our fish. Now I've chosen the color blue today. You can actually choose any color you like. And I'm going to paint directly from my container of paint right onto my fish. Good coverage. And now something really neat. I'm actually going to use the end of my paintbrush. I'm going to carve out some interesting fish details before I turn my fish over and press it down onto my creation. Now if your hands are a little bit dirty, now's a good time to get some of that paint off. Once we've done one fish, let's do a few more. Paint them and press them. And paint them and press them. You can change fish at any time. I like to make sure I'm really getting those details pulled away with the end of my paintbrush. I think it adds a really interesting effect. Now once our fish are finished, we can again use the end of our paintbrush to go back in and pull some paint away to add more final details. At the very, very end, I'm going to add some bubbles, let it dry, and we are done.
And there we have it, my friends, our awesome mixed media ocean creations. Now you can always save your little fish shapes for later. You can use them in a different activity. You could even cut out other different shapes from the rest of the styrofoam left over. Maybe you do a starfish. Maybe you do some seaweed or another type of underwater creature. The sky is the limit, or in this case, the ocean is the limit. So again, if you finish this wonderful piece of artwork and you'd like to share it with me, I would love to see your outcomes. You can always email them over to us at artsPlace. We just love that. You can also tag us on social media. We also love that. But we hope that you enjoyed this series. If you did enjoy this series and you'd like to share that with us, please send us an email with how much you enjoyed it. We would love to read those, and that will also help us know if we should do some more. So if we should do some more and you liked doing these at home, please let us know. We do always take that into account when we're figuring out what comes next for us. Don't forget, we have lots of other activities that you can join us with, but that's all we have for now. Thank you again so much for joining us, and I hope to see you in person soon. Bye!